Hello everyone, so today I'm bringing you a new comparison video for the Bape hoodie, where we'll look at the authentic and counterfeit versions. The version I have today is the retail version I bought from StockX. The one on my left is from Ninjahype.co, which is the version we usually sell. In this issue, I will give you a comparison because I didn't get the dhgate version. They haven't shipped it. I won't include it as it lacks reference value and is poor quality. If you watched my last video, you'd know the quality was bad, including it wouldn't add value. Let's compare these two versions. The Ninjahype version is a one-to-one replica. The quality is at that level. Alright, now let's compare these two versions. You can see that the Ninjahype version is basically a one-to-one replica. I think the quality has really reached that one-to-one level. Next, I'll compare some more detailed aspects for you. Okay, then let's compare these two versions. You can roughly see that, in fact, the Ninjahype version is basically one-to-one. I think the quality can be achieved.
So at first glance, let's compare the packaging bags. The one on the right is the version from StockX, and this version is a batch of the Shark V1 from 2024, but the one we're selling is... This is our own label, since we don't have the original AP label. Oh, the bag is the same bag. You can compare them. They are identical, because the one we're selling is actually the first generation blueberry colorful shark. The details of the first generation are slightly different. So I bought the 2024 version from StockX. Let's examine some details. The left version we sell is the first generation shark displacement. The right one I bought is the latest 2023 Blueberry 32 UV1. If you bought the first generation from StockX, you might notice differences. The latest version has a tail curvature adjustment, while ours has a larger mouth. Use an authentic piece as a reference. If you bought the first generation version from StockX, you should notice these differences. Some of the small detail differences include the curvature of the teeth and the mouth, which are slightly different. The latest version has a slight adjustment in the curvature of the shark's tail, while our shark displacement has a slightly larger mouth. This isn't really a quality issue, it's just a difference between the versions. Now, the first generation Shark V has a larger hood shape, which is also quite normal. If you have an authentic piece on hand, you can use it as a reference. But one thing to note is the difference in... The first generation Shark V has a larger hood shape, which is quite normal. If you have an authentic piece on hand, you can use it as a reference. But there is one thing that distinguishes this. When you're comparing the quality of the good and bad Shark UVA hoodies, you'll notice that when you take it off, the triangle of the hood is very three-dimensional. You basically don't have to do much to it. It just naturally forms this triangular shape, right? You can see that even the authentic version on the right has that triangular shape. But if you buy one of those poor quality versions from dhgate, you can't even squeeze it into that shape no matter how you try, right? If you have the dhgate version or the AliExpress version, you can give it a try. It's really soft because the fabric itself has issues, the fabric of the authentic product, and the Ninjahype version is very high quality and firm. Now let's take a look at the shark mouth. As I mentioned in my last video, there are two details to note. This shark stitching here. Hey, why doesn't the authentic one have the stitching going through the middle of the teeth? But it seems like these two versions really have achieved some consistency. I guess the stitching on the blueberry colorful sand UV1 goes through about 3/4 of the way in the middle. Because if you look at the authentic version on my right, it doesn't have the stitching going through the middle of the teeth. This might be where the stitching on the blueberry colorful sand UA1 is blocked. It goes through one side of the teeth, one on the right and one on the left. Alright, that's a small detail I really hadn't noticed. Now let's take a look at the eye area. The fabric for the eyes is also really well done, and the shape is the same. Let's take a look at the label inside. First, let's check the sleeve label on the sleeve. Well, Ninja version on the left is actually not as good as the one on the right. It's also a one-to-one version, exactly the same, including the inside of this version. The right one is the 2022-2023 version. I bought it that year, and they updated the hoodie. The original has a round head design, a key feature. Ensure the 2022-2023 version isn't mislabeled as original. Check the back of this. But the back of the first generation hoodie we sell has a round human head on it, which is the back of a round human. So please pay attention when you buy it. If someone says they are selling you a 2- or 3rd generation version, but it actually still uses the 1st generation label, then there is a problem. Okay, let's take a look at the inside. Let's take a look at the WGM at the back. In comparison, the color of the first version is lighter, but the texture of the towel sleeves is very good. It feels very comfortable to touch, and the position of the stitching is very neat. You really need to pay attention to this. If you end up with a version that is of very poor quality, just like that dhgate version of the Camo Shark V1 from the last episode, where the stitching was even sewn directly over the embroidery. I believe that's something you definitely can't accept, right? Look at the position of the embroidery. It's really comfortable and very well made, right? If I zoom in, you can see it better. The details of this print are really nice, and you could say they achieved a one-to-one match. However, because of the differences in versions, there are some details that are slightly different. But just based on that alone, it's really great. Now let's take a look at the label side. And here are the fabric details. This zipper is also the same YKK zipper. Let me show you both together. What about the YKK number 5 zipper? The label inside. Can you see the prints in the authentic label inside? Then the fabric must be lining with velvet. The fabric inside must be lining with velvet if it is made of terry cotton. If it's the thin kind without fleece, then that's definitely a very low quality version. Having that fleece will make it really comfortable to wear in winter. At least you won't feel cold. Alright, let's take a look at the care label. The length is the same as well. This is a really interesting little detail. The phone number has been changed, and then there's the gold label on the back. I don't want the gold monkey on top anymore. The latest version seems to have a shinier brightness. It's one of the differences. On the left is the original version from the first year, and the hood is a bit larger, so when you pull it up, you can easily get it all the way to the top of your head. I'll try both on. But if the hood is smaller, I guess it won't be as easy to wear. Right now, I'm wearing the Ninjahype version of the Shark hoodie. I can easily zip it all the way up with one hand, and I even feel like there's still a lot of room left. I'm wearing a small size. The small size is just right for me, because this one is in European and American sizing. It's not on the smaller side, so when you're choosing, just go with the size you usually wear. No need to choose. Size up. It fits really well and is super comfortable. The hood on this Ninjahype version is very loose. So when I zip it up, I can easily pull it all the way to the top, and I'm even wearing sunglasses. This is the 2023 version of the retail StockX. Well, this hat is a bit tighter compared to the original version we just talked about. But you can still pull it all the way up, it just takes a bit more effort, since this hat isn't as loose. If you have a bigger head, or are on the heavier side, I think it's better to go with the original version. Okay. Recently I've also been wearing small version. So if we're talking about the one-to-one version of the Shark, you really don't need to choose a size up, because this size is just right. It fits the European and American body types perfectly.